Dan, put something up here for me.
We do another punch.
Close that last session.
Yeah.
Where at?
This should be the new session. Did you get a copy? It's the new meeting. You got the same one right there. This is the regular board
Looking for
meeting.
the new agenda. 'Cause we
So
haven't
we
got
just
any
start
stuff
the
up.
regular board meeting?
I threw one there, Tim. Tim, I gave you one. I threw one on there. I think that's it in your hand.
Okay. All right, so we'll move on to the regular board meeting. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Bowman here, Laporte.
Here.
Patterson.
Here.
Fraser.
Here.
Addie.
Here.
Rush.
Here.
Honey.
Here.
Okay, move on. A, approve agenda with additions of item 14, session closed. Under the MCL 15.268C for the board to be brought up to date and discuss township labor negotiation strategy with the negotiation group as to the ASME, FOP, and COAM labor union.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Public comment.
Closed session item 2 also. Do you have that there?
Pardon me?
Closed session item 2. Where's that at?
It's right here. Send it there.
This is the closed session.
Oh, that's an addition.
Yeah, requesting closed session to the following matters. Closed session for item 1. The Sumpter Township Board of Trustees to proceed to a closed session under MC.
Right, that's one you just read, he's talking about this one right here. I'll make a motion to go into closed session to the addition of
item
item
two.
number 2, Sumpter Township Board of Trustees to proceed as a closed session under MCL 15.268H under the protection reviewing and discussing the township attorney's opinion letter.
Chair, if we could re-amend, because we've already approved the agenda, so we have to, I'll make a motion to take my motion to add that to the agenda.
Yep. And I will support that.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried.
To closed session.
Now we're gonna move on to
Yes.
public comment.
Yep.
Okay, Gary, Floyd?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Thanks for having me. I'm Gary Floyd. We live at 21187 Sherwood Road. I think we got the garbage can thing handled. Mr. Laporte's taking care of that. The biggest thing, our question was, is I've talked to the city manager. I called him once. He said he was going to check into it. That was about 2.5, 3 months ago, I think. Then talked to him again in the office, and he was going to check into it about the reimbursement for the money that we had to spend for a delineation that we didn't have to have, that the building department wouldn't give us our building permit. Said this was when all the stuff happened, that they gave us a building permit to build our barn, and then somebody just apparently calls the state of Michigan and says we built our barn on wetlands and halted the project. And then it required us to pay $3,000 to a delineation company and $1,020 to the state of Michigan for Jeremy from the state of Michigan to come back and say I didn't need it. And he sent an email to the building department. And I thought the last time we had talked that everybody said they were going to try to make us whole. So we've been trying to inquire about that, and we're not getting any answer.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I spoke to Mr. Martin, so it was my opinion, relative to my understanding of the law as it relates to reimbursing under these circumstances, we don't have the authority to do that, so, the communication might have fallen between him and me, but that's where I'm at on the issue. And I'd be glad to take another look at it if you'd like, but these are things that happen. It's a cost of doing business that occurs. We don't guarantee the results of whatever the inspections are, or whatever they happen to be, and I can't use public money to reimburse those private losses.
Thank you, Rob.
This is something that was caused by the township. I firmly believe, I had a long talk with Brett from Carlisle and Wortman. I don't see Carlisle and Wortman giving me a building permit to build my barn and then turning around and calling and filing a complaint on the state of Michigan against me to get me fined when they're the ones that issued me the permit. The biggest problem is, I think it came from, and it is speculation, but I believe it in my heart, it came from Pete Gregory. Because when I threw him off my property because he got mouthy with my wife investigating an illegal septic tank, he called it, and it wasn't an illegal septic tank. He just didn't do his due diligence to talk to David or anybody else. He just took it upon himself. Then 2 weeks later, all of a sudden, the state of Michigan's telling me they're going to fine me, or I got to get all this delineation because of the request of the township. And then when Jeremy came out after we paid the delineation company and paid the state of Michigan, he did a picture online and said, "You're good to go." That shouldn't have cost us $4,000 because of what happened at the township. That's $4,000 we didn't plan on paying for because of somebody calling and complaining. And when we did the FOIA request, everything was in there, and Pete Gregory was in 80% of it if you read the 80-page letter that my wife read. Up until that phone call, nobody seems to know who made that phone call unless I file a delineation with the state of Michigan to Stephen Lott.
I think that, if I may, Mr. Chairman, I think there was a review of that inside the department, and it was determined Mr. Gregory has never made contact at all with the state on any issues as it relates to that matter or any matters. His review and is always as it relates to the township, and then his conversations would be internally. And he's never directed, nor has he, as far as we could tell based on the information. Am I right on that, Chief? Thank you.
That you know. Because
Well, of course, but
Jeremy,
you know what, I'm not gonna speak, I mean, I could have called, right?
right,
I mean, if you wanna go there, or maybe somebody over here could have called. But what we can only deal with is facts, can't deal with speculation.
right.
And it's unfortunate, and I don't mean to sound, I guess I'm a little curt, but I always get that way when some of the people that work for the township, and we've gone through this a lot, are accused of doing things, and 99% of the time, it turns out that it's not accurate. It was one of those situations that occurred, and we have film and we have all kinds of documentation. If you guys want to get into that, we can do a hearing on it if you want. But the chief was involved, the township manager was involved, and I was involved. And it wasn't personal in nature, and the decision wasn't reached in any way other than to try and figure out what we can do as required and allowed by the law. That's what it came to. Okay. So if the board directs us to take another look, I can write a report and be more specific. You can look at the film if you'd like, and we can go from there. Whatever your pleasure is, that's what we'll do.
So I talked to Jeremy, and he talked to me and my wife from the state of Michigan. And Jeremy knows Pete Gregory by name. And he's talked to him on many occasions, he said. So
that's true. If the state calls us, and the state will initiate conversations with us on things like, on a lot of things, as it relates to environmental matters, flood issues, and the like. But what I'm talking about is for anybody in our department to contact Eagle, or any department for that matter, is never undertaken unless it is discussed with the department head. And in this case, the department head for Mr. Gregory is sitting in the back. He's the chief of police. And he looked at those documents and reviews and everything else, and that's the decision. I didn't come up with that decision, but that's the decision that he came up with. I came up with the collective decision that we're talking about.
So Stephen Lott, when I had a personal conversation with him, he said it came from the building department. The complaint did. I've talked to Joe, I've talked to Brett, I've talked to Jeff, I've talked to Abby. I don't believe they called. Why would they call after giving me a permit and then call on me and try to report me I built on wetlands? That just hangs them. So, and then the conversation, nobody seems to know who called the state of Michigan and filed a complaint on us. But 2 weeks prior to that, I threw Pete Gregory off my property, that he's doing something that he shouldn't even have jurisdiction doing. So, ordinance, yeah, but environmental, he has no business on somebody's property looking at a septic tank or building permit. Why is he doing that? That makes no sense to me as an ordinance
I don't know that
officer.
he's doing that.
He did do that.
Well, you told me you thought he did it. Now you're telling me he did do that.
No, he
So
was
I
on my
guess
property.
I guess I'm talking about contacting the state.
Oh,
So,
no,
I mean,
what I'm
we have
saying is
no
nobody
evidence that
knows.
Peter Gregory contacted the state, and that's what we have to deal with, is what we can prove and know for sure. That's what we deal with.
So I just know what Stephen Lott told me, that somebody from the building department called him. He didn't want to give me a name. I asked him, and he hawed like he didn't want to give me a name unless I give him a FOIA request and then find out who did do it. But I shouldn't have had to pay $4,000, me and my wife, for something that I already had a permit to do, and the plans were already in the township. That just cost me money when the township building department already had it. I shouldn't have had to pay that money. So the township caused me to pay that money. So now we're out that money because the township did something that I'm supposed to pay for? How's that fair to me and my wife? That's what I'm asking the board. If I cost you money that you didn't have to pay, you'd be saying, I want my money back.
Sure it would, but it's ability under what we're restrained from as a municipality to be able to do. There's a lot of things I'd like to blame everybody else for that went wrong in my life, but I'm constrained, the constraints we have is what we can do by law. If we had endless of money and it wasn't the people's money in the township, then we might have a different ability or attitude on it. But when you collect taxes and fees from everybody in the township, it's really restrictive of what you can spend your money on.
So the township don't carry insurance for purposes like this when there's negligence or somebody caused something?
Well, I mean, if there's a claim.
Insurance
that's made-
agents carry that kind of insurance. I
The
know
insurance
that.
company would ask for proof.
If the claim was made to the township, that was a claim against the, we turn it over to the insurance company. They would decide, just like we decide when it deals with public money. They would decide, and maybe they would pay, maybe they wouldn't pay. We don't control the insurance company. We pay the premiums whenever they come due, and it's up to them. You want to put a claim in as to the insurance company, then we'll help process that in terms of giving it to them.
So you as a city attorney, can't you call Stephen Lott and ask him who reported it, who he talked to? He might tell you. He didn't want to tell me. He did not want to tell me. Now, I can go through all the rigmarole and send him a FOIA request and make him tell me, and then what? I'm going to wait another 60, 90 days to get that. He might tell you who talked to him, but he told me the building department. So that's all I'm going by is the building department gives me a permit and then turns around and reports me and then costs me $44,000, $1,020 to the state of Michigan and $3,000 for delineation that I didn't have to do, but nobody knows who called. But all I got from Stephen Lott was it was the building department from here. So somebody from the township had called. That's all I know. I'm asking for help. I mean, I don't have a money tree in the backyard that I can just start spending money every time I go to turn around because something happens from the township. We got the permit to build, they had the plans, and then it just was coincidental how 2 weeks later, after I threw Mr. Gregory off my property, now Stephen Lott's contacting us saying we built a barn on the wetlands. It's just a coincidence. Maybe he didn't do it. Maybe somebody else from the township did it. I don't know. But everybody from Carlisle and Wortman's denying it. You guys are, I'm insinuating that Pete Gregory did it because of the heated conversation we had. And then 2 weeks later, it's just really coincidental. But at the end of the day, it cost me and my wife $4,000 that we shouldn't have had to pay. That's all I'm asking.
Okay. We'll move on.
I don't have it, other than what I just said. It's not what I want to do necessarily, but it's where we're at. I mean, that's where we are at as a township. I can't imagine what would happen when when the people would line up every day saying because of what somebody did over here, we have to reimburse them for some expense over there. It's not what we're allowed to do. I mean,
I'm not the only one. I've heard other people that are building in the township right now, the township is costing them money and they were getting their money back. So, I don't know.
I'm not aware of any situation like that. I can
Okay.
tell you that absolutely, without question in my mind, I don't know of any situation where that has occurred.
Would you have a problem reaching out to Mr. Lott and asking him who made the complaint? He might tell you, you're the attorney.
I mean, if.
I'm a nobody.
If we're gonna do it, well, I'm a nobody too when it comes to this sort of thing in the sense of, I've been given the information by my department heads as to what they uncovered with what they did. I don't know what they did, every step that they took to look at that. Maybe somebody did speak to Mr. Lott, I don't know. But I'm just telling you what the information is that came to me and the conclusions that were drawn. So that's what I have to work with.
Would you call him and ask? or
I
no?
don't, you know, what I call him. I mean, Mr. Lott, how you doing? I mean, did Mr. Gregory call you and talk about a problem that he saw in such and such a location?
Don't name
That's-
names, just say, okay, we want to know
But
who
why
made the
am I
complaint.
doing this? I guess the question is, am I doing it, why am I doing that?
To find out who made the complaint
But-
that
but-
caused, I can do it, I'll do it,
Yeah,
I'll
I'd
do it.
rather,
And then when
you
I
know,
find
you do it
out,
because you've got standing in the sense that you can do the FOIA with them and see
Yeah.
what comes up from there.
okay,
I mean, in my mind, it's closed because you're asking for us, the township, to pay you, reimburse you costs for something in your development that didn't work out exactly like you hoped it would, and you want to blame it on somebody at the township for that delay, and that's not something that we can reimburse you on. Now, if you've got a claim that you want to make against the insurance company, we'll deliver it to the insurance company. I'll do that. That's something I can do.
so you're saying it caused me a delay and it's something that I didn't like what happened. It's something that should have never happened. I'm a licensed builder. I've never had this issue before. I got the building permit, built everything like I was supposed to do, had the house on there and the plan, everything, everybody knew where it was going. And then all of a sudden, now I get a complaint against me? That was not something that I just mishapped and I just don't like the result that I had to pay extra money. I was forced to pay money because of somebody from this township filing a complaint that I built on wetlands. How is that? That's making me pay something that I didn't have to pay. And then Jeremy comes out and he gives the township building department a letter saying he's good to go after I had to pay that to get proceed with my house. I was forced to pay something that I should have never had to pay for. So, and then nobody wants to, the FOIA request stops right before that phone call. Just out of nowhere. I mean, it's how coincidental that nobody knows who makes this phone call, but Stephen Lott didn't really want to tell me who it was. So I'm gonna have to force his hand. And then when I can bring it back to you with a name. Does that change anything? Is it still gonna give me my money back?
I don't think it does. I mean,
So the township's gonna cost people money and then just say, well, we can't pay you back because we don't have the money.
look, people have an absolute right, and I'm not saying it happened here. This is the danger of what we're doing right now. Because I don't know what Peter Gregory did or didn't do, or anybody for that matter.
Take it
I
off,
can
take it off
only-
Peter Gregory. Maybe it was,
yeah,
let's say
but-
it was the
but-
building department.
People have a right to complain to the regulatory agency that something is going on that they don't think is right. You can do that. I can do that. Anybody can do that. If they feel it's appropriate to go look and investigate it, they can do that. If it turns out that there's a problem, they will take the action, not us. If it turns out there isn't a problem, then they move on. I mean, that happens all the time. DEQ or Eagle, whatever you call them these days, they get complaints all day long about things. Some things they investigate, some things they don't. Now, I mean, if we're not gonna stop people from complaining to the agencies or the regulatory agencies. We get calls all the time in Sumpter Township Police Department. We get calls in the clerk's office. We get calls in the township supervisor's office. I get calls. This guy's doing this, that guy's doing this. I mean, I don't punish the person that tells me these things if it turns out that they're wrong. I would rather them tell us so we can investigate it. We get all kinds of complaints on flooding and dumping and tires being put on different property and blight and all this other stuff. Sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it isn't. We work off complaints. We could be wrong. I don't know what happened in your case, sir. I'm just telling you. I'm not gonna tell people they can't call the regulatory agencies and express a concern they have. I'm not.
It's like deniability, you know, it's like, your township caused me and my wife to spend $4,000.
I don't know that. That's not that's not the way that it was concluded. I mean, you guys wanna see the tapes, you wanna see the documentation, then we'll pull it all together for you to see, then you all can make your own decision. And you
That's
can
fine.
talk to the chief, you can talk to the township manager, you can talk to Mr. Gregory, and you can talk to the people that are involved. But what I'm telling you is through that whole investigation, what I'm telling you was what came of that, 100% of the people that I talked to, including those gentlemen in the back.
So I'm saying, what if it wasn't, even if it wasn't Pete Gregory, what if it was your building department? It's, the bottom line is, it came from the township, and nobody's willing to find out. I gotta do all the footwork to find out. So I'm gonna do a FOIA request to Stephen Lott and make him tell me. You're telling me it's still not gonna change, even if they did it illegally. Give me a permit and then turn around and file a complaint against me? That's totally wrong. I would never do that to somebody. Especially the building department. Like Brett told me today from Carlisle Mormon.
Okay,
Why would I give you a permit and then turn around and call on myself?
I
But
don't
whatever.
disagree.
Okay. It is what it
It's
is.
just-
Thank you, Gary.
For me? Oh, for me. We're just do this. I don't even know if this is small. Go ahead.
Okay, Miss Cheryl Morford?
Cheryl
Get
Norton,
ready.
the bake shop next to Sammy. People informed me, I didn't know. I didn't know that I was slandered at one of your meetings so bad. That's why I'm here.
What?
With my visual, by the way. My visual is,
Could you step behind the podium too, so you could be recorded? Thank you.
my visual is of flooding, my visual is of
3 minutes, Tim.
3 minutes now.
semis parking in front of Sammy's. My visual is of how Sammy blocks the traffic, so my delivery trucks can't leave my property unless they back out of my property onto the main road. But anyways, this'll be here if anybody's interested in seeing what that's about. And I don't feel so bad since you got a 3-minute limit, that took 12 minutes. I cut mine back from 22 minutes to 12 minutes. And I just want to say, I'm going to read it. Sammy made a statement that I filled in my ditch on Savage Road with 2 80-ton semis of dirt. He's seen that happen, and 2 equipment loaders build a new entrance on Savage Road. That did not happen. And anybody that wants to come, and I implore everybody to come and see that that did not happen. What did happen is when Sammy blocks my driveway and he is in control of who comes and goes on it, I said I'll take care of that problem since my customers were having to drive into my ditch and drive out of my ditch on the edge of the right-of-way. I filled in the ditch. I rented a front loader from Wolverine, and I had I should read what I wrote. And I had a operator come and take gravel from the back of my property. I have a gravel pile, stockpile in the back, because you know all my property is gravel. I have to maintain it. So I filled in a small portion, enough for cars and a semi on the existing right-of-way. I added to that. So I don't have to deal with him and his baby games like that. To avoid the conflict, yes, I added gravel. The county installed that for me years ago because of flooding. All right, I couldn't physically bring the gravel up bucket by bucket myself anymore. Maybe 10 years ago, yes, but I hired the work done. So he blocks a delivery from... He sees that I got my delivery truck, and there's a picture of how big my delivery truck is here, okay? It's pretty big. And when he sees it in my driveway, unloading in front of my bakery, he then goes and takes 2 cars and puts it in the public access, county right-of-way, so that he cannot exit there. That's when I called the police, and it wasn't that I thought they could do a thing, because I know they can't. But they can document it, that that's what happened, because they came in and they viewed it on video. The cars were not there before the driver got there. They were there when the driver was there. All right. And please take note that my property has a county ditch and 2 drain basins. Why do you ask? I have a county ditch because it's self-explanatory. Because my property flooded. We didn't know our property flooded when we bought it. The building was vacant for 10 years. We had been in Sumpter since '88. We didn't know anything about the building, or it wasn't disclosed that, hey, this building floods. But people in this township all told us how they used to come buy candy, penny candy at that place in a flood. And that's why people didn't give us a 1% chance of making it there. Right? Although the apartment was always rented. Okay. Sammy's correct in mentioning that there is a driveway, illegal driveway. It's too close to the intersection there. That's not on my property. That's on the bar property. That's there because the deliveries for the bar, their beer trucks, their pop, their Coke, their Cisco, their Gordon Food Service, after they did my ditch and put 2 basins on my property for me, after a long, extensive time getting it done through the county. They took a whole crew off of a job to get it done because the next day it was going to be in the big newspapers. I had it with it. So all their drivers started making a path through there again. That's supposed to have a guardrail there on that corner, okay? My building has been hit twice. People coming off of Haggerty Road. And of course, that's filed with the police department. And filed with the police department. Somebody came through there, blew up my garbage cans, took out the DTE box, went across my entrance door to the customer bakery, took out the guardrail, took out the picnic tables. And you might also know that one guy came by on his motorcycle and got dead in my ditch. Okay? No guardrail. It should have been there, should be there now. That driveway doesn't belong there and never did. It's not intended to be there.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes?
This sounds like a county issue with Wayne County.
Oh, no, I'm not having a county issue. That is a county issue, yes. But the thing is, Sammy's complaining that I put in a illegal road to my property, and I did not.
That's still with the county, though.
That's with the
Well,
county.
I'm just saying that Sammy is saying that I put in a illegal road, and I did not.
Right, but we don't have anything that's a county issue, like, then,
I understand that.
The
You
county
should have
enforces-
told Sammy that at the meeting where he said that.
we
That's
did.
not our
I
problem.
did, I
It's-
mentioned to him, I said, it's a county issue.
I didn't hear that in the meetings, and I listened to him at least 20
That's clearly a
times.
county issue.
Yeah,
Mr. Nassar has a claim that I have installed 20 cameras in my on my property for me to watch what he does. Imagine that. I'm going to sit there and watch every movie he makes. I've had a very nice camera system in my bakery, and the cameras also assist the police department when something's going on that corner. They will come and ask. Not frequently and not in a long time. But when somebody stole the countertops down on Savage off of someone's truck, they came and wanted to see my cameras. If that person went this way, what kind of car? Okay. So I didn't add 20 cameras for Sammy to watch him. I have an observation deck where I can see everything on the corner. It's the top of my building above my customer area. I can't see the south side of his building, of course. I can't see what's going on there, but I can see everything around it. I can see down Haggerty, I can see down Savage, across the street. I call it my observation deck. I have a permanent ladder there with 5 steps. Climb up it, walk around on it, put my Christmas tree lights up. It's there, it was there for maintaining our roof equipment. It wasn't put there to be an observation desk, it just turned out to be one. But I don't have 20 cameras or even one. I have a camera that does go across all our driveways because it's on the road. It's not intentional for Sammy's driveway, his property. And it's been there for 20 years. 21 years. He's paranoid. And about his bumpers, about the bumpers on his property, I'm glad he didn't accuse me of that, because it didn't happen the way he said it happened. And if you want to see how it happened, I have it on my phone with me. It's not what he said. He didn't see 2 cars driving across them bumpers. That's not what my camera showed me when I backed him up. Contradicting himself.
Okay.
No, I'm not done yet. I mean, come on, he had 12 minutes. He had 5, 10, 15, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, you know,
Go ahead.
he had 12 minutes
I
maybe,
wanna
but
say
I had,
that
he and I
he's-
discoursed, I ate up a lot of his 12 minutes, okay?
Okay,
Just so you know, I mean, I was
Well,
trying to answer.
just so you know,
that's
what I
we're talking
haven't gotten to the question I want to ask you, Mr. Attorney, but I'm
about.
getting
Shoot
to
away,
it.
come on.
No,
Okay,
I
then.
am coming on,
All right.
okay? He's worried about this driveway causing accidents, but he's not worried about this, this was Thursday, well, my thing fell, but Thursday, when he had his hauler come park in front of the building on the road to back up traffic, Thursday, that's when that picture's from, loading, unloading, whatever he was doing. That didn't stop, because you said for it to.
Okay.
I would like to just remind the public at this time, this is something that needs to be stressed at public comment time.
This
This
is a
is
business
public
meeting.
comment.
I am
This is
making-
not a time
I
for
am making
public- ma'am,
comments.
Ma'am, I have the floor right now. This is not a time for questions and answers, debate back and forth. It's a public comment. It's supposed
Okay,
to be limited.
I'll
but-
hurry along.
Well, all right.
Mr. Nasser had the audacity to come to the meeting and say, she is a racist and she hates me.
Don't remember.
Okay, that's out there on social media and it's in print. And my question was to the attorney, since he was at that meeting, did you have the authority to ask him if he would like that struck from the record? I just was curious if you, as the attorney, had the authority to have that struck from the record if he wished it to be.
I don't have any authority to ask anybody to strike anything from the record.
Okay, you don't have the authority,
No, I
didn't
don't
have the
have the-
authority to ask him
No.
that. Okay.
Okay, we're done?
Oh, no. We're getting there, though.
And
Yeah, we got it.
What meeting can I come to and be heard? Because I'll be back with the same thing. Because this is,
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I think maybe a meeting or something, because
I'm not
this is,
having a
this.
separate meeting for
Well,
me.
wait, hear me out. I have the floor right now.
Okay, go ahead, I'm
You're
sorry.
having a personal issues.
Right.
With another entity. You're not gonna get anything solved at a public board meeting.
Nothing.
If you want, come down to the supervisor's
Come to the
office. Me and
supervisor's
Tim
office.
would be
Yep.
more than happy to hear your complaints.
Yep.
And, yeah, because we're not gonna get anywhere tonight on this. It's
Okay.
just not gonna happen. Back to you, Chair.
I'm not expecting it to get anywhere about this.
Well, we
They
need to.
told me it was a board meeting that he spoke at and made these accusations and many other claims that I was addressing the issues. Well, he could do it, I was rebuttaling. That's all,
Okay, so
that's all.
if you would, just call my secretary, Karen Woodington, make an
No,
appointment.
you're not
and-
interested? I'll end it. I'll stop it right now.
That's all you can say, man. That's all you
But
can
I
say.
want to say,
Yeah.
I didn't do any illegal road.
Right. Thank you for your comment.
And I want you
Thank you.
all to come and verify that that didn't happen.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on. Minutes. A, approve regular board meeting minutes of January 13, 2026.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Approve warrants of $1,985,637.
So moved with a roll call vote.
Support.
Bowman, yes. Laporte,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Fraser,
Yes.
Addie,
Yes.
Rush,
Yes.
Honey.
Yes.
Motion carried. Motion to receive and file all reports.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Board response. Moving on, new business.
Chair,
Hey,
I know we filed all the reports, but I would like to hear from the township manager.
Yeah.
If we could, allow him to speak. It's up to the board, you're the chair, you know. if-
I would like to hear the township manager's report. I always feel that's necessary, but if you allow that. It'd just be
Pardon me?
brief.
yeah.
I think it's more important to hear from him than.
In the interest of time, I was going to ask that you just receive and file, but I'm happy to address anything that might be on here.
No. As long as there's no.
Gentlemen?
Well, we'll just keep it at that. We receive and file, we voted, and that's it. Okay.
We
I
just
do
wanna
like
make sure
talking
that we
with you
gave you
all.
the
I just-
time. Yeah, we just didn't skip over it.
Thank
so.
you, Mr. Martin. Board response. No response. New business. A, consider approval to develop a tri-county planning commission with the city of Belleville and Van Buren Charter Township.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. B, consider approval to approve text amendment to section 5.3 accessory buildings, structures, and uses.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. C, approval of the Township Planning Commission recommendations of approval to rezone 24473 Sumpter Road, Belleville, Michigan 48111 from G2 or C2 to general commercial to R1 country home residential.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. D, consider approval to post and accept application to conduct interviews for part-time ordinance officers.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays?
Wait,
I don't think we had a support, we had two so moves.
and I think that was,
Oh,
And if we have a support, the one thing I'd like to ask is this part-time position, are the times still gonna be different? That our first ordinance officer will have a different schedule than the second ordinance
it'll be
officer?
for weekends, right, chief?
It will be, and my write-up to the board showed an example of that.
I seen
It
it.
would definitely cover both Saturdays and Sundays. I'd like to give it a shot with part-time, and that's what I asked for. I think we have a good chance of being.
Is there a reason for part-time, chief, not full-time?
just to see how it goes and the need.
Pardon me?
He put in the letters, just to see how it goes and the need may increase.
I just believe that, like I said in the write-up, that I think that we would be able to do it with a part-time position being that second position. And if at some point we decide that we want to make it a full-time position, we've already seen that part-timer work. And if they're able to do the job, and it would be a great transition going from part-time to full-time. But if we can try it on part-time and get the job done at the level that we expect, which is a high level, I'm willing to give that a shot and see if it works out.
Chair, I think my concern is still is what we discussed before. I'm not, it concerns me that we have two different shifts for the same position. You know, our current ordinance officer is not eligible to work on the weekends. So if this ordinance officer is off, we don't have any coverage on the weekend. I just don't like having two different shifts for the same position. I'm not aware of any other position in the township that, you know, the clerks don't have different times. You know, the DPW people don't have different times, different shifts. They get called in. That's my only concern is I don't
So
like.
this is for that, so there'll be somebody on the streets on the weekend, correct?
Correct.
It is, but my comment is, he's restricted to the weekends, the other officer can't work weekends. And I don't like having two separate officers. We only have 1.5 officers, we have two separate shifts for those officers.
Why can't the other one work weekends?
You tell
If it's
me.
required
You tell
by-
me.
If it's his job description, why can't he?
The
I mean, the
union
void-
contract does not allow, prohibits assigning somebody to work on Sunday.
Other than that second, it was the
Yeah, other than the
LOU.
exception that he's talking about right now.
Yeah, so the exception is for the part-time officer or full-time officer, not for the existing officer that we have. And it's not that I wanna make anybody work on the weekend, I just
We
think
need to work on the weekend.
we do need to work on the weekend, but I'm just saying, this still restricts our first officer from being able to work on the weekends. He can't work Sunday, he can't work Saturday. We haven't had any weekend coverage since we lost the other officer, right?
Correct.
So, but we have an officer.
We didn't have it then.
Well, we maybe not have it then,
We
but
voted
that's.
to have it.
yeah.
That's the reason we hired a second
Yeah.
officer, which, for some reason, he never worked the weekends.
He worked Saturday, he
Yeah,
didn't work
Yeah,
Sunday.
he worked Saturday, he didn't work.
He worked Tuesday through Saturday,
Right.
and then Gregory
Well,
worked
the
Monday.
weekend is Saturday and Sunday.
I
That's what we
understand,
voted
I know,
on.
but
Yeah.
we'd have to change,
Yeah,
we'd
so
have to modify
my-
the entire union
Yeah.
contract as it relates to that position
Yeah,
to.
my comment is, I just don't like the fact that we have one
So
position that has
if,
two different
so
shifts.
if the part-time person that we hire for the part-time position, if he's hired, he can work without modifying the contract, he can work on Sundays?
We already went to the union and said we'd like to modify that as it relates to that one person.
No, but if he goes full-time, then
Same
that
thing.
violates the contract?
Same thing, if we wouldn't, you wouldn't go full-time unless the union modified the agreement to allow the coverage, because I understand the problem, but what I'm saying is the only way that we could deal with it without getting into a full-blown issue, because then the rest of the employees would say, well, then you can assign me to work on Sunday. You can decide that the clerk's office should be open on Saturday and Sunday. So that, what I'm trying to say is that the union went along with the ordinance officer being assigned to work on Saturday and Sunday under these circumstances. I think it said if it's part-time or full-time, didn't it?
It did not address part-time, obviously, as
Yeah.
management's rights, we can do that. It was addressing, and it's set up to make sure we cover a full-time position. So I can, in my opinion, I can use whatever time in that Wednesday through Sunday, part-time or full-time. I don't think
And
there's
I
any
just wanna
issue.
make, I think we need the coverage on the weekend. I just don't like the fact that it's only one of our two officers can work that shift. To me, it should be, both of them should be able to work that shift. And I understand it's a contract issue, but it just doesn't set well that, when we approve this, only that guy can work the weekends, our other guy can't work the weekends. So we don't have weekend coverage when he's off, period. But it just seems odd that we have a carve-out for
And
one
we
position.
wouldn't have Monday coverage if Peter was off.
Right, you wouldn't have Monday coverage of Peter's off, but I'm just saying, we're setting up a separate contract essentially
Which we don't know
for a person to work on the weekends, and the other position, other ordinance officer can't fill that shift, by contract can't fill that shift, it just.
When the
something we
position
need to
was
work-
created in AFSCME
Yeah.
in 2000, whatever it was, when it was bought into AFSCME, because they were members of the police union
Yeah.
before we got rid of ordinance.
Right.
When it was created in the AFSCME contract, it was a Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, 8:30 to 4:30. It's what Peter was hired underneath and what it's been since then. And then when we had the second ordinance officer position, we did work that Saturday. But, yeah. like it's
And I just bring it up because I think we need to consider a carve-out like we have for the two ASME employees that work in the offices where they don't get to, if we close on the holidays, they have to work. We should consider the same thing. I don't know why we would have two separate work shifts for.
We don't close on the holidays.
Yes, when we close on the holidays,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The
Okay,
ASME
yeah,
employees
okay.
across the street still
Yeah.
have to work. So, now we're saying
Yeah,
this
yeah.
ASME employee doesn't have to work on the weekend,
got-
but we're
I
gonna
got
have
what you're
another ASME employee that works on the weekend.
Yeah,
So-
well, I mean, that was what we agreed to.
We agreed to, I
mean,
agree,
you know.
I agree. I don't wanna harp on it anymore, I think this is just crazy that we're gonna carve out a weekend shift for one guy, and the other guy that does that same job can't work that same weekend.
Well, I think it's something that we can get corrected in good faith bargaining.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Said my piece, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
We don't have weekend coverage.
Okay, moving on.
No,
We got a
A
motion
motion
and a second.
Okay. Do I have a motion and support?
Yep.
You had a motion to support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Okay, moving on. E, consider approval to hire Darren Moore as a paid on-call firefighter.
So
Contingent-
moved. Oh, I'm sorry. Another sentence.
Contingent on reading the rest of the agenda item.
There you go. Contingent upon passing physical and drug tests.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays?
And
Motion
I
carries.
believe Mr. Darren is in the audience right now. No? Next one.
Next one.
Next one, I'm sorry. Well, we're making all kinds of mistakes tonight.
Okay, F, consider approval to hire Landon Hall as a paid on-call firefighter contingent upon his passing a physical and drug test.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried.
Congratulations.
Right there.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so G, consider approval to hire Wyatt, help me with that last name. Barrett. As a permanent part-time DPW Water Department employee at $23.80 per hour and to work no more than a maximum of 29 hours per week.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
I got a question. Do they, when you work 29 hours a week, do you still get benefits or no? No benefits?
Yeah, Chair, I had satisfied my question on that, but Township Manager Martin had cleared it up on me. They get a few additional PTO and vacation days, and they get 9 of the 15 or 16 holidays that the township gets. So they get a few extra little benefits in there that go with it. but
No
it's minor.
medical or nothing?
No.
Right.
No overtime and all that stuff?
Well, 29 hours.
29 hours.
What if it's
Yeah.
emergency?
29 and a quarter hours might be overtime, but then we'd be in violation of the code.
Okay.
Let me say one thing, because it's always a confusing thing. It's permanent, part-time, so if he 3 years from now turns into a full-time, his seniority is as of the date that
As
he's
the date
hired
he's
as a
hired.
permanent.
Okay,
I'm sorry, permanent part-time.
right.
So his seniority starts now, moving forward for vacation and those kind of things.
And again, just to be clear, that his employment date does not change, like he said, what if he does become permanent, full-time later on. His employment date is, this
Today.
does not change.
Okay, moving on. H, consider a proposal for the sale of township-owned properties, 81-122-99-0007-701 Rossonville Road for $300,000, and property number 81-102-99-006-000 Martinsville Road for $200,000.
So moved with a roll call vote.
Support.
Chair, now that
Sure,
we
we
have
have discussion.
discussion on that, I know that the property on Rossville was one that we previously had listed for $585,000, and we did not get any bids on that, but we weren't also advertising beneficial terms, like a land contract. I mean, I personally would like to see us put that out, if we're gonna advertise a land contract so that we could see. I mean, I know that when we looked at this before, I think I said that we would probably be willing to take 450 on that. If we were looking at that, I might be able to be convinced that it would be good for us not to move that forward if we were getting 450 on that property, with 200 on the other property. But, I think, at 300,000, that's what's almost 60% of what we originally had it on the market for. And I think if we're gonna offer land contract terms, we should look at advertising that available for other people that may think that that's beneficial to them to get a land contract where that couldn't maybe get, conventional financing.
Jim?
From my understanding, both of these parcels of property are contaminated, correct?
No.
At least one of them is, right?
One of them, yeah.
Okay. And how long have we owned Rossville Road property that you're concerned about?
Well, we just put it up for sale one
How
time.
how long we owned it?
I don't know.
Since
No, you
84?
tell me, Jim, how long?
I don't know, I'm
1984?
asking. You've been on the board a lot longer than I
Yeah,
have.
no, I don't know. I
And
think we've
nobody-
gone probably 30 or 40 years.
Nobody's made a move on it so
1984.
far, so
Yeah.
if we have an offer on it
Right.
and Rob
Yeah.
thinks it's a good
1984.
offer, I say we move
Well,
on it.
wait, my reflection is on the other parcel, because I've looked at the environmental on that other parcel, and it's got extensive environmental contamination.
Right, and it's a package deal, correct?
Well,
Right.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
is it that
That's what
way,
we're
or,
selling them as, a package deal.
so it's one, it's all or none?
So they're taking the
Yep,
good with the
all or
bad.
none.
Well, that, yeah, I mean, but the bad is bad, is what I'm saying. You
Right.
couldn't give me that property.
Right.
Okay, so what I wanna do, roll call vote.
I've still got discussion. I would like the floor if I could, sir.
Pardon me?
I would like to ask a couple questions if I could, since we're having discussion now. There was a motion a second, now it's discussion, right? Could I ask some questions, is what I'm asking?
I'm thinking about it.
You can send me a text or an email when you figure it out. if you want.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm just curious. Number one, like, so, this, just first, I found out that we owned it since 1984. I don't have a problem with it, I am a fan of selling property, I don't think we should just be holding property, but I'm also a fan of doing things right. And what I try to do is I try to act like, what would I do if this was my property?
Oh, God, here we go.
Sorry. Well, here we go, I can say the same thing about you, Mr. Bowman, so
well,
here we go.
power
But,
to
so
you.
let's not get into slams on it, but, so, where's the property located at? It took me almost an hour and a half to 2 hours to find out where it was located at, number one. Like, and I talked to a couple of the board members, like, I don't really know, where's it at? So I'd like to ask that question amongst board members. So I found out where it was located at, and it's all a treed lot, that's something else separate, like, what's the valuation of the trees? Does anybody know, is there oaks? I mean, there could be a valuation of the trees of maybe 50, 100,000, who knows? We don't even really know, we haven't had any specs on it. Not really a fan of selling on land contract, especially 10% down, 7%. That we haven't talked about negotiating any contracts on that. If we listed it as a land contract sale, I feel we could get more. That wasn't in the terms that we had when we sold the property before, we listed it for sale before. So question, why haven't we listed this? Anyway, I'll leave it at that too. Normally, if we did like with the Moose Lodge, when we sold that land contract and it kind of fell apart then too, we asked like, what are you gonna be doing with the property? Like, and then also land contract deals like who's gonna be managing it, what are the payments, are there gonna be invoices sent out, who's managing the, you know, the whole, you know, breakdown, you know, for the payments and all, so, anyway, I'm just
Okay,
not a
so-
fan of it. but-
And so, Chair, I think in part of those things is a negotiation. I mean, usually in a land contract, nobody can modify the property without, you know, township, you know, allowing it, can't build on it until it's paid for, that type of stuff. Am I wrong about that, Rob?
Well,
Yeah,
normally
you're
you're,
right about that.
you're never gonna borrow money to build on it because nobody's gonna loan money if the land contract is between them and the bank, right?
Right.
I'm saying if it stands between them and the bank because they want a first mortgage on the property, so they would ask us to subordinate. But I thought Mr. Chairman, that the offer was centered on the fact that he was gonna do some residential there? Wasn't
Family compound?
something, yeah, but residential, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that it?
Do you think I mean, I'm not opposed to doing a land contract. If this was 200,000 for the one and 450 for the other one, or 425, I think it makes sense. You know, we would probably save money than putting it out and paying, you know, realtor fees and things like that. But, you know, it's hard to swallow when we had 585 on that, you know, originally.
Well, looking at a sale that was pending, it's not apples for apples because there's difference in road funding, but there's a pending sale on a property that's 80 acres for $889,000.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a 67 acre parcel here. It is on a main road, there are limited, you know, so it's different road frontage and stuff like that, but it, you know, and this one that sold for 889,000 wasn't as treed and
They'd
forested.
already logged it, yeah.
It's
But
already
just,
been
yeah,
logged.
I just wanted to
Okay.
bring that up because, you know, I think.
So-
So, can I just chime in? I don't mind the 300 and 200, but I don't want them separated. It's gotta be a package deal. If for
Right.
any reason that he backs out of one property, then he loses both of them.
Yeah,
So,
There's no, you don't cherry pick the better property and the one that has issues, you quit making payments on it and give it back. Then you got a smoking deal on the one.
that ain't gonna happen.
Well, I'm just saying, that's legally
So
how
one
it needs to be
contract
presented. One
regarding two
contract,
parcels.
both parcels.
Okay, so, that's a good point. So we'll begin with a roll call vote. Addie,
No.
Fraser,
Yes.
Patterson,
No?
Bowman, yes. Laporte,
Yes, if it's one package
just
deal.
one package?
One
one
deal,
package.
one deal for both properties.
Laporte, yes. Rush,
Yes.
Honey,
Yes.
Motion carried. Done deal. Okay, we're moving on to I. Consider approval of the employment contract for Jamie Goody, Sumpter Township Fire Chief.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Well, discussion, I'd like to make one change if I could. We talked about this with the attorney. That in the, and it didn't make it in before the change, is that our contract employees, employees contribute 8%, the contract, we as a township contribute 15%. That's the way Chief Brown's was before, and that's the way this chief's should be too as well. So it reads in the contract as an equal 8 and 8, but in Chief Brown's contract, it was 8 and 15%. So we should continue that, in my opinion. I did talk to our attorney.
No, I redrafted it. This is probably was put together with the older, or with the one that was, the
Remember
original
I-
one, yeah, it's
yeah,
15.
Remember I sent you Chief Brown's contract?
Yeah,
It said
yeah, it's
15%?
what you sent me was the amendment.
Right,
We
the
went-
amended,
We went
right.
8 and 8, we went from 8 and 8 to 15 and 8. So we have that, and so I can send it over tomorrow, yeah, I already have it drafted, so I'll send it
Yeah.
over, yeah.
I just want to make sure that it's not an 8 and
No,
8.
that's a good point.
We
I
are
mean-
contributing 15% as the employer.
Trustee Rush, would you amend
That's the way it
your
was.
motion?
It's consistent with all the
Yeah,
other.
It's consistent,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll amend my motion.
We have support.
Yeah.
I supported it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. J, consider approval for Chief Luke and 3 command officers to attend the MACP Winter Professional Development Conference in Grand Rapids, February 4th through 6th of 2026. Of cost of conference covered by state-provided training funds.
So moved?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carried. Announcement. No
I'll
announcement?
make a motion to adjourn?
Well, we got 2 closed session.
Oh,
I make a
We can't.
motion to go into closed session.
yes, support.
Hold on, we went, can you read them
didn't
now,
read
the
that.
reasons, so, for the record?
He read them at the beginning of the meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
so
on the
those
different
2,
one.
okay.
Yeah.
Both of those will be one meeting. Roll call vote on that, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Addie.
Yes.
Fraser.
Yes.
Patterson.
Yes.
Bowman, yes. Laporte.
Yes.
Rush.
Yes.
Honey.
Yes.
Are we gonna do